Hello everyone and welcome back to video tutorial 2. In today's lesson we're going to be talking all about more complex drum grooves, and hopefully by the end you will be able to learn and play them. And also we're going to be moving on to something called paradiddles. Hopefully by the end of this lesson you will be able to start using drum language, so the word paradiddles and fills and grooves and time signatures. Hopefully you'll be able to kind of start taking away and using that language by the end of the video. It's okay if you don't, you will get it eventually. But hopefully if you're here now on this video, you would have learnt everything that we learnt in tutorial video 1 and you're ready to move on to the next step. So we're going to do a little recap on what we did in video tutorial 1, which was learning simple drum grooves. We learnt this drum groove first. And that is, we used the counting again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we went on to a kind of more complex drum groove, but it was still very simple, and the main drum groove that you hear in plenty of famous songs. So it was the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. So if you can't remember those, have a quick recap of what we did in tutorial video 1, and then you'll be able to move on, ready to progress in this tutorial. So hopefully by the end of this lesson we're going to be playing something a bit like this. Now, that's a more complex drum groove, but we are still using the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're still using that, but we're just developing it very, very slightly by adding a few more kick drums in, by adding a few more snares in, and by adding the hi-hat rhythm is the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're just adding more kicks in and adding more snares in. It's very, very simple when you actually break it down and listen and think about it. Also, you might see before we move on as well that we have a bit of a different setup. Last tutorial we only had 1 crash, if you can remember. Well, this time, as I said, some different drum kits can have different setups, and this time we do have a 2nd crash. So if you do want to add more crashes, or if you only want to stick with 1, or you only have 1, that is perfectly fine. But if you do want to develop your drum kit as we go, that is perfectly fine too. We have a very similar setup before we go on and actually learn a more complex drum groove. We do have a very similar setup, it's just we've added an extra crash to make it see the difference. So now that drum groove that I've just played, that more complex one, we're going to learn it. So same again, we have the hi-hat, which is here. We can start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that was the very, very simplest drum groove that we did at the beginning. It was this. But all I did there is that I added more kick drums and more snares. So the kick drum went 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3. So we're going to use, before with this beat we only used the simple counting of 1, 2, 3, 4, but now we're going to implement the counting of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 because we're adding extra beats in. So we're playing the kick drum on 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, leave it, 1 and 2 and let's bring our hi-hat back in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you don't have to do that. If you're finding it more complex to add those beats in, don't worry. Add 2 in. So you could go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Just, if you're finding it hard, just add different kick drums on different beats in, so it doesn't have to be on 1 and 3. It can just be on 1 if you wanted to, but try and change where you put the kick drum in the pattern, because we want to develop our sequence and we want to develop the drum pattern that we're learning to make it sound more interesting, and we don't want it just to be there, or I'm doing exactly the same. I'm counting in my head to go 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So we're going to break that kick drum part down again now. So I'm going to play 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. We're going to bring the 1 and down now. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. We're going to bring 2 in. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to bring them more in. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of it. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all I'm doing now is counting. And if I'm finding it hard to do it with a hi-hat and play the kick drum at the same time, I'm just going to carry on playing that rhythm that we was learning. It's 3, 4, 3, 4. Play it on the kick drum. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just keep practicing that rhythm on the kick drum, otherwise you'll keep forgetting it, and you can bring other parts in, but always start with the thing that you're changing the most. So in this pattern we're changing the kick drum the most, so I'm going to carry on playing that repeatedly, and then I'm going to bring my hi-hat in. If that's the way you want to do it and that style fits you, then that's perfectly fine. We're going to bring the snare in now. So we're going to play what we did on the hi-hat and kick drum over and over, and then I'm going to bring the snare in. Okay? So the snare's going to come in exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not doing anything different to the hi-hat or snare. The only thing that we're going to change to make this drum pattern very slightly different is the kick. So if you're changing anything on the snare, you're not quite there, and just keep practicing and keep practicing. But if you need to, we'll start with that simple drum pattern that we did before. 1, 2. Now we're going to change the kick. I changed it there. I thought, let's play my simple groove first that I know how to play, and then I'll change the kick drum once I've got my rhythm and pattern flowing. But if you wanted to do it the way where you start with the kick drum and then bring in each part of the drum kit, that is perfectly fine. That is fine to do. Whatever suits you differently, each person will have a different style of how to play it. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to go, if you can just play it all together, like... Hopefully, by the end of the video, once you've kept practicing, you will be able to get like that, and you'll be able to play at different tempos. So we're going to start off slow and we'll get faster. Once you've got it, practice it getting faster and faster as you go. It will implement that what we've just learned into your head, and you won't forget it. So when you're playing a different complex drum groove, you can change anything. So I've learned that drum groove now, that now I'm going to add some more snares in. Just do what you want to do. You don't have to stick to what I'm teaching you, but use that as a basic of adding different parts of the kick on different beats, and then you can bring in different parts of the snare and maybe add a fill in at the end. So we've learned a complex drum groove. Now at the end of a drum groove, or in different parts of songs, you might hear something on the toms and the crashes, and that's normally played either in the middle of the drum groove or at the end of a drum groove. So I'm going to play a drum groove, and then I'm going to play the fill, and I want you to hopefully hear that at the end there's something different going on. Ready? So what I did there on the toms was a fill. Now anything that you do other than a groove or a little break in the piece is called a fill. This can be done on any part of the drum kit. It doesn't have to be on just the toms, but it stands out more on the toms because you're breaking up that section of your pattern, but it can happen on any part of the drum piece and on the drum kit. It doesn't have to be on just what you can do, what you want to do. If you feel comfortable of going around the kit or playing it on a different part of the kit, then that's fine. But hopefully you'll be learning how to experiment around the drum kit now. So we're going to play our drum groove that we've just learnt in today's tutorial, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 counts there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go around the drum kit. So we're going to play the drum groove. We're going to play it twice. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you're playing a drum groove into a fill. Let's start with a fill. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the floor tom. That's what you end with. So on the snare, it's 2 hits. 1. On the high tom, it's 2 hits. 1, 2. And then on the floor tom, it's 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to go around that. We're going to get faster. Count it out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Very simple fill, but once you've got it, start getting faster. So whatever tempo you're playing your drum groove at, you can carry on with that consistency into the fill. So we're going to play the drum groove, and then we're going to play that little fill that we've just learned. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. So it, you need to. There we have just played a drum groove into a drum fill. So you making it more complex as you go. You're making your drums sound flow nicer. So we're going to play that one more time, and then we're going to move on to something called paradiddles, which is the basic of what you learn once you know how to play the basic drums. Everyone who's a drummer and you go, do you know what a paradiddle is? They will be able to play it for you. And by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to play a paradiddle. Even if you're not playing it very well, you will know what a paradiddle is and you'll have a basic understanding of how to play it. So we're going to play that drum groove again into the fill. We're going to do it twice. So we're going to play the drum groove to da 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 into the fill. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Back into the drum groove. Da 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 da. And then we're going to play again. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Crash. So you're doing it twice. Ready? We're going to play it together. Play along with me. And if you don't want to play along with me, pause the video and you can play along with yourself. Ready? 1 2 3 4. Now. 1 2 3 4. Ready? Now. 1 2 3 4. So, you've got that. We're going to move on to paradiddles. If you need to keep going on and keep replaying the video, that's perfectly fine. But now it's time to get more developed with your knowledge of drums. So we're going to recap on some learning of language that we've been learning in this tutorial before we move on to paradiddles. So we've learned the word fills, which is a little break of the drum pattern. We've also learned more complex counting. We've also learned how to develop the kick drum in our drum pattern. And we've also learned how to play a more complex drum pattern. That's some language that you need to keep listening out to in the videos, otherwise you might get a bit lost. Now we're going to go on to paradiddles. So I'm going to put underneath here what a paradiddle means. What you do is you have your 2 sticks in your hand, and you need to know your left and rights for this. I have my right hand and I have my left hand, and the paradiddle is right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So we're going to break that up. We're going to start with the right, left, right, right, and that means you have to play right hand, right hand. So when I go right, it means you play your right hand. Just one beat, you hit on your right hand. So it's right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Right, left, right, right. That's the first part of the paradiddle. You can play it on any part of the drum kit you feel comfortable with, except for the kick drum. So I'm going to do it on the floor tom. I'm going to play the first part, starting with my right hand, left hand, right hand, right hand. Ready? Right, left, right, right. That's the first part. Very, very, very simple, and you'll get it. Just keep playing that over. We're going to play it together. Right, left, right, 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 right. So that's the first part of the paradiddle. Now we're going to move on to the second part, where it's using your left hand, which if you're a right-handed drummer, your left hand might not feel as confident, but trust me, after practice and practice and practice, you will feel confident doing it in your left hand. So we're going to play the first part again, and then I'm going to show you what it goes like into the second part of the paradiddle and what it sounds like, and then we'll break it down. Ready? So I'm going to do the first part, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. I'm doing exactly what I did in the first part of the paradiddle, but on my left hand instead. It's the same pattern, but on your different hand. So let's break down the second part. It's left, right, left, left. I'm going to do it again. Left, right, left, 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 right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, I'm going to play the first part very, very slowly, and we're going to bring in that second part. You ready? Right, left, We should be on our left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Now, I do this when I'm just sitting there. If I've got a pair of drumsticks and I'm sitting on the bed, you can do it there. Just hit it on your leg. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. You need to get that pattern in your head. Otherwise, that if you do left, right, left, left, that's fine. But you need to remember the left part is second. Always remember it's right first. And it's right, left single, right double, left single, right double, left single. Okay? So, I'm going to do it one more time and we're going to get faster. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So, it gets faster. Practice your right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left to a very steady, calm tempo. And then get it faster and faster. It's very simple when you think about it. It's 8 beats. Eight beats you're playing. But you've got to make sure it's in that right pattern and you don't fall out that pattern, okay? So, once you've got your paradiddle and you've got it to a fast tempo or however fast you like, you can then start implementing that into a fill. So, I'm going to play it and I want you to see, I want you to say, or whatever you think, whether it's a paradiddle or whether it's a normal fill. So what I'm going to play now, do you think it's a fill or a paradiddle? Okay? And it's going to be in the fill. So with paradiddles, they can be played within a fill, but I want you to know whether it's the paradiddle rhythm or whether it's not the paradiddle rhythm. Okay? I'll play it again. And one more time. Is that the paradiddle rhythm or is it not? Think and look at what my hands did. What hand did I put down first? And what hand did I end on? If I ended on my right hand, and if I started on my right hand and ended on my left hand, is that the paradiddle? Or is it not? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think. I'll play it again once more, and then I want you to say what you think it is. So, the answer is, it was a paradiddle. I played that paradiddle, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. I just played it around the drum kit. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. I started on my right hand, ended on my left hand. And that was the rhythm and the paradiddle pattern going around the drum kit. So you can implement a paradiddle all the way however you want it, but it has to be that right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So I'm going to do it once more. I'm going to play that complex drum groove and then I'm going to play it into the paradiddle. That drum groove that we learned earlier and the paradiddle in the fill. So hopefully now you will be able to, once you've got your paradiddle and once you've been able to learn that complex drum groove, you will be able to put them together and flow from one to the other. So it's the end of the tutorial, and hopefully you've learned how to play a more complex drum groove and how you can develop it to how you want to sound it to. You can add more kicks, more snares, more hi-hats, it's up to you. but I'd only start by adding more kicks in and more snares if you want to develop it further. And also, hopefully you know what a paradiddle is and how to play it and how to play it around the drum kit. So if you need to keep going back at this video to keep looking back of how we've just learnt all that stuff, because it is a lot of information to process, then by all means do. But hopefully if you're moving on to the next tutorial video, it means that you've learnt everything that we've covered today. So yeah,